was in 2016, but there's a picture of me sitting here. Actually,
Cool.
this place here.
On this particular day, November 28th.
That's what Dennis put it up.
No, it wasn't me.
It just came up there. Yeah.
Little did you
So
know.
I'm going to be playing with a mask on as well for two reasons. One is obviously COVID, and the other is I end up looking much nicer when you can't see much of my face. So. It's true. So I didn't know what I was going to play today, so I sat there and thought I'd go through a kind of chronological thing from when I was a little kid, growing up in London, come from the London Irish family, through to kind of around now. And so I'm going to start off actually with an Irish song that isn't Irish. Well, it sort of is. It comes from music hall tradition, from vaudeville tradition. And because a lot of Irish people went into vaudeville because they could sing and it was better than digging up roads and things like that. So I'm going to start off with this song which was made famous in the 1920s and 30s by a guy called Murty Rabbit, who came from, I believe he came from Sligo, I'm not absolutely sure, but he spent most of his life in the States. And it's an unusual Irish song because nobody's going to die in it, but it's still sad though. I'm a decent, honest working man, as you will understand. I tell you the reason why I left old Ireland. 'Twas Mary Durkin done it when she married Jim O'Shea. To keep my heart from breaking, I said to America, ah, goodbye, Mary Durkin, I'm sick and tired of working. My heart is nearly broken. Oh, look, I'll be fooled. Oh, sure, my name is Judy. I'm bound for California. Instead of digging water, I'll be digging lumps of gold. I came to Castle Garden where I met a man named Bert. He told me to remain in New York till he found me work. Well, he hasn't got it from me, so tonight I tell him plain. To San Francisco in the morning, I'm going to catch a train. Ah, goodbye, Molly Durkin. I'm sick and tired of working. My heart is nearly broken, and no longer I'll be fooled. Oh, sure, my name is Tony. I'm bound for California. Instead of digging water, I'll be digging lumps of gold. I'm out in California, and my fortune it is made. Throw away the pick and spade, go back to the old island, because I'm out of sight. I'll marry Miss Kelly, Molly Durkin for to spite. Goodbye, Molly Durkin, I'm sick and tired of working. My heart is nearly broken, and no longer I'll be fooled. Oh, sure, my name is Judy, I'm bound for California. Instead of digging water, I'll be digging lumps of gold. Ah, goodbye, Molly Durkin, sick and tired of working. My heart is nearly broken, and no longer I'll be fooled. Oh, sure, my name is Judy, I'm bound for California. Instead of digging water, I'll be digging lumps of gold. Get used to playing with a mask. It felt weird as it was slipping down. What I need is a thumbtack to stick in. Super glue. Oh yeah. So the next song I chose to do, when I was a little kid, I really started turning on to rock and roll, and there are all kinds of musicians that I really loved back then. People like Eddie Cochran, Johnny Burnett, Chuck Berry. But I think one of my favourite, and it sort of lasted all the way up to now, was a couple of brothers, the Everly Brothers. And I think it was through the Everlys that I discovered things like bluegrass, old-timey, and country music. And I think this was one of the nicest songs they did back then. You cheated me and made me lonely. I tried to be be sad, you're gonna be weeping, you're gonna be blue and all alone. You'll regret the day when I was leaving. 'Cause when I leave, I'll be a long time gone, be a long time gone, be a long time gone. Just when I leave, I'll be a long time gone. You'll see my face through tears and sorrow. You'll miss the love that you call your own. Baby, there will be no tomorrow. 'Cause when I leave, I'll be a long time gone, be a long time gone, be a long time gone. Yes, when I leave, I'll be a long time gone, be a long time gone, be a long time gone. Yes, when I leave, I'll be a long time gone.
I heard a little bit of Tommy Tweety channeled through there.
Sorry?
Tweety channeled through there.
The Tweety?
You know,
Oh,
Tommy Tweety
No,
back in the days.
No.
what was the name again?
I think his first name was Conway.
Oh,
Tweety.
I know Conway Twitty. It's all we might do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I used to like Conway Twitty too.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. In actual fact, I was in an English folk song group. We played unaccompanied, and there were sort of four voices. And there was one point where we actually held the lead singer off the ground. He was lying in our arms, and he would sing Only Make Believe, as we just sort of stood there in the middle of a folk club. The group did not last very long. Anyway, around that time, basically my parents did not like rock and roll, and they were very much into the old Irish music. And I'm going to sing you a song now that basically I learned it through my grandmother. And it's a song that appears all over the English-speaking world, and there's even a version here, or at least one version here in the United States. There might even be a Hawaiian version for all I know, but this is the version that my grandmother used to sing. It's called Go and Leave. However could I tell her mother all the times together we spent? Thought our love would last forever. Now I find it was only lent. So go and leave me if you wish to. Never walk because you're mine. If you think I'm so unworthy, go and leave me, I don't mind. Now millions and night lovers you lay sleeping, dreaming in your sweet repose. Quiet longer, left her weeping, listening to the wind that blows. Here's a ring of the ones you gave me when our hearts were sure entwined. Give it to the black-haired lady, she'll never know it once was mine. Go and leave me if you wish to, never let me cross your mind. If you think I'm so unworthy, go and leave me, I don't mind. brought me grief and sorrow. Never will I love again. Go and leave me if you wish to. Never let me cross your mind. If you think I'm so unworthy, go and leave me, I don't mind. Dennis, capo. You have a capo. Thank you for lending me the guitar. It really is appreciated. I didn't want to bring a guitar over here because it's so big, and they often say it has to go down below in the plane.
Yeah.
And that scares me, that does. So I brought my ukulele, which I'm going to get out a bit later. No, that goes here. You know, another reason I love this mask is that, sorry Dennis, since COVID hit, I've been wearing masks the whole time. I haven't had a cold, I haven't had a cough. I've actually been healthy, which is really strange for me. So, when I was a little kid, there was a singer who was in a group as well, and he kind of became my favourite singer, and has probably been the biggest influence on my music all through the years, including when I do kind of folk things. That's Buddy Holly, and the very first song I sang in public was with this little group I was in. There was a girl called Pam. She sang and played tambourine, and there was a guy called Colin who played guitar, and there was me, and I just stand there smiling. You can't see I'm smiling under this. I always smile, you know.
Was he part of the Crickets?
Yes, yes. And anyway, this is a song that he did, and it was the first one that I actually ever sang in public, so I'm going to do it now. I haven't sung it for ages. Hope you like it. It doesn't matter anymore. Where you going, baby? Here now I have you left me here so I could sit and cry. Oh yeah, gee, what have you done to me? Well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Do you remember, baby, last September, how you held me tight each and every night? Golly, gee, how you drove me crazy, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore. There's no use in me to cry, and I've done everything, and now I'm sick of trying. I've thrown away my nights and wasted all my days over you. You go your way and I go mine. Now and forever till the end of time, I'll find somebody new and we can stay with her, and you won't matter anymore. Everything, and now I'm sick of trying. I've thrown away my nights and wasted all my days over you. You go your way and I'll go mine. Now and forever till the end of time, I'll find somebody new and we two can say we're through. You won't matter anymore. You won't matter anymore. This song is probably the first song that I ever wrote, because I do sing a songwriting things as well, you see. Basically when I was about 13 or 14 years old, I wrote a song. I then forgot it for many, many years. Probably when I was in my early 20s, I wrote another song and then realised I'd used the same tune for both songs. And I didn't like the ending of the younger song, and I didn't like the beginning of the older song. So I put them together exactly, yeah, and I ended up with this. It's had many different titles, and its proper title, really, I guess, is It's So Hard. But I was recording this a few years ago, and the co-producer turned around and said, you can't call it that for some reason.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Well, it's in the song, yeah, but he sort of said, people will smirk. People have got dirty minds. And I think it was just him, actually. So the song ended up with a different title, and I've forgotten what it's called now. Written down here somewhere. You Only Wish. That's in the song as well. This is how it goes. It's so hard when you wake up one morning and you see the sunshine. And you hear the birds singing, you smell sweetness in the vine. And you turn and look at the young girl lying by your side, and not know her. No, you don't know her, and you only wish you could again be last night. You see her soft black hair falling down into her face, and you vaguely remember another time, another place. And a sudden fear makes you want her to hold you tight and to love again. Yes, to love again. And you only wish you could again be last night. Her skin so white, so soft, tempting like a stone. She's breathing so peacefully, so deep, so calm. And her eyes are still red and sore from where she cried. You know her. If you had known her, and you only wish it was again last night. To walk away and close that door on her in that room. To walk through life knowing you'll never heal the wound. To never see beauty, for tears will never end your songs. No, never again. Oh, never again. And you only wish you could again be last time. It's so hard when you wake up one morning and you see the sunshine, and you hear the birds singing, and smell the sweetness in the vine. You don't know her. No, you don't know her. And you only wish you could again. Wish you only wish you could again. You only wish you could again. Be last night. These are songs that I haven't sung for a long time. So, this actually now goes back to partly to the 50s and partly to the 60s, because in the 1950s, when I was a little kid, I used to go to the movies, these Saturday morning flicks and pictures. And they used to show two movies, and they'd show a kind of newsreel and cartoons, and there'd be a serial they'd show. Probably have the same thing here in the States, but every Saturday morning from 9 to 12, it was like mayhem in the local Granada or the
25 cartoons.
You got it, yeah.
Superman.
Oh, I miss those days.
What
Anyway,
the other one? It was, not Tarzan, was it Tarzan?
Oh yeah, we had Tarzan in England, for sure, yeah. And there was that space one, I forgot what that was now. Flash Gordon.
Oh, Flash Gordon, every one of them.
Yeah. But anyway.
I was born in 42.
Oh, you remember it better than me then. It's a bit later than you. Anyway, there was a movie that I really loved as a kid. And then in the sort of, I guess it was in the late 60s, there was a group that I really liked that was called the Graham Bond Organisation. And the group, I mean, they didn't make it at all, really. They had a couple of hits in England, I think, and that was about it. But they lasted sort of 2 or 3 years, and Graham Bond used to play organ, hence the name of the group. And he had a sax player in the group, Dick Hextall Smith, I think it was, who was really famous in England. If you hear English records from the late 60s and there's a saxophone, it was probably him. The guitarist was a guy called John McLaughlin, who you might have heard of because he went on to become pretty big as a guitarist. The bassist was a fellow called Jack Bruce, and the drummer was Ginger Baker, who went on to form Cream with Eric Clapton. So it was really one of the first supergroups before the name had even, the title had even arrived. And they sang this song, and of course I had to sing it as well because it's so good. They put so much power into it. But I've got this really soft voice, so I think I sound more like Debbie Reynolds when she sang it in the movie. I think she sang it in the movie. I can't remember, that was a long time ago. Anyway, the song is Tammy, and I'm going to do it for you now, because I really love this song. I hear the cottonwoods whispering above. Tammy, 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 my love. The old woody cow hooty-hoos to the dove. Tammy, 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 my love. Does my darling feel what I feel when she is near? My heart beats so true. You think she could hear? Wish I knew if she knew what I'm dreaming of. Tammy, 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 my love. Whippoorwill, you and I know. Tammy, Tammy, I can't let you go. The breeze from the bayou is whispering low. Tammy, Tammy, I love you so. When the night is warm, soft and warm, I long for the charms. I'd sing like a violin if I were in her palms. Wish I knew if she knew what I'm dreaming of. Tammy, 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 my love. Tammy, 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 my love. Everybody sang it. My favourite version after the Graham Bond Organisation is Andy Williams. He does a superb version of it. But there again, I'm biased because I think Andy Williams was one of the best singers ever. His voice was incredible. Wish I could sing like Andy Williams. He's good.
I was born in 46.
Yeah, I do need this. So I mentioned that group before, the English unaccompanied folk song group. It actually grew out of a kind of country rock band. And when we were in the country rock phase, one of the guys in the group and I used to sit there playing guitar together and singing songs. And we'd often just make up songs. And this is one that we did together. He was thinking of his girlfriend, who I think her name was Janice. And I was thinking of a girl called Daisy when we wrote this. Mother bird, take me under your wing. Together we'll fly through the sky, and we'll softly sing our song of love. Won't have to worry when you are near. Oh, mother bird, I need you here. The still of the evening, bringing back the moments before you were gone. White clouds on blue remind me of you, fly before the storm. The sound of the city engulfed in my mind. Oh, mother bird, don't leave me behind. The golden morning sun comes shining from my window to my room. An image of your face goes floating through the sky, following the story, sinking ghost of the moon. You helped me through my nights and through my days. Oh, mother bird, promise me you'll never fly away. Oh, mother bird, promise me you'll never fly away. Did you notice the birds singing as I sang that? Little birds, they'll be chirping over there. And the reason why I didn't know if I was going to use the pick or not is because I actually recorded that song. And I recorded it with a blues guitarist who was playing in an open tuning. And I was actually playing in taro patch tuning and open F tuning. And on that I was actually finger picking it. And well, I just thought, oh, I finger picked that. But I don't, not on standard tuning guitars. So, oh yeah. So after I left that group, I went to live in Germany. And there's a good reason for that, sitting over there. And anyway, we were there for sort of 7-8 years, and I played music over there. And it started off with doing Irish music with some friends, and then we started incorporating German music. And this is one of the songs that they kind of refuse to sing because it's the German equivalent to the Irish Wild Rover that no Irish singer wants to sing, or rock and roll, rock music where people want to hear Freebird, but nobody sings it. But anyway,